The Pledge of Allegiance.
Freeze. Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Order. Ready. Press.
Legionnaires uncover. Almighty God, Father of all mankind, and Judge over nations, we ask you to bless this memorial service and to look down the favor and the understanding upon the hearts of those who gather here to pay their tribute to them. The supreme sacrifice and for the benefit of all free men everywhere. The lives of those who paid the supreme sacrifice and the glorious before us. Their deeds constitute a daily inspiration for those who, like ourselves, who remain in their communities. In God we trust, and may the faith of our fathers guide, protect, sustain our people. Amen. Cover.
I was looking for our mayor, Chris Parr. Are you in the audience? Missing in action. Well, Brother Ray, if you want to come and stand in for Chris today, since you've done this before, we would appreciate it.
Yes, my name is Ray Rex. I'm the former mayor of Roman Forest. Chris is on his way down. I'll try to talk real slow like they do up in East Texas where I was born. But anyway, thank everyone for coming out today. It is a blessing to have each one of you here today. Y'all can be seated, by the way. It's an honor to have this opportunity to once again celebrate the real meaning of Memorial Day. And to begin with, all the veterans, would you please raise your hands that are in the crowd? That is fantastic. Okay, now I'm going to start, and if I miss something, y'all correct me.
We will.
I don't believe, but I'm going to ask, do we have any World War I veterans here today? Okay. If you're here, raise your hand, please. World War II. Okay, I know. Keep your hand raised. And gentleman back here, what is your name?
Jackson, Roy.
Roy Jackson. And I know a great friend of mine's here today. I look forward to seeing him every single year. TJ Fryer. Did I miss anyone? There's only two? Okay. What about, let me step up, Korean War? We have one back here. And your name?
Bob Schroeder.
Bob? Chokley? Chokley. Thank you very much for being here. We started getting more current as far as my age. Vietnam vets. Okay, thank you very much for your service. We have, go ahead and introduce yourself if you don't mind.
Jerry Reese.
Jerry Reesner. Then we have another one right in here.
John Armour.
John Armour. Any more over there? And back over here. Do we have a hand raised over here? Okay, and who did I miss? You?
Joe Piazza.
Right.
And Joe?
The guy in the wheelchair.
I'm sorry, what?
The gentleman in the wheelchair.
Oh, in the wheelchair. You were hiding behind a tree here. And your name?
Oscar Harwood.
Very good. Thank each and every one of you for your service. Okay, this is where it might get a little confusing. Gulf War. Introduce yourself, please.
I'm Rob Hunt.
Rob. And I know you can correct me.
I won't though.
Iraq. Iraq. I served in Iraq. And your name?
Tim Piscatelli.
A little louder?
Tim Piscatelli.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, you can correct me. I mean,
That was right. You got it.
okay. And any current conflict? Should I do Afghanistan
Not Afghanistan.
or any other current conflict? Okay. Is there anyone here who is actively serving today? Okay. Okay.
Right. We do have one of our cadets that's actively in the Army National Guard.
There we go.
Okay. Army National Guard. I'm sorry.
Two of them are going to be leaving right after graduation.
And what are the two graduates that will be leaving? Army. Thank y'all very much. Thank you very much. Is the mayor here yet?
You're not going slow enough.
Okay, I guess some of the Houston language is coming up on me. I'm talking faster than what my cousins do. I was not in the armed forces. My dad was in World War II. My daughter's done extensive background on Ancestry. You've probably never heard of that website. But she has some of the Ricks going all the way back, and they served in the American Revolution and the Civil War. My dad was in World War II. He drove one of those little tank destroyers. I call him a rabbit. They go out and take a shot and run like heck. But that's what he did in World War II. He was in the second landing on the invasion. Chris, where are you? Okay, I guess that, what would we do next? The program.
Speakers.
Okay, dignitaries. Okay, do we have any dignitaries? I know I'm going to introduce the ones that I see. And elected officials. Do we have any dignitaries here? Elected dignitaries? Okay. City official, well, we do have on elected officials, one of our city councilmen. Stand up, Jill, and introduce yourself.
Hi. Thanks for coming.
do we have another one that I've missed? Elected officials. Elected officials. I was waiting for you to raise your hand over there. Okay. Not only does he police Roman Forest, but I think he polices MSED too occasionally. Steve Carlisle, the elected member of the MSED board. That's it. Okay, is there anyone else that I have not recognized that needs to be recognized? Okay. Once again, I want to say thank you for being out here today. It was an iffy situation. I think we had on the other side of... Oh, there's one other that I wanted to acknowledge while I'm here before I go to that. We have our city administrator. Up you go. She does a great job here in the city. Our current mayor, he works, and she does all the work that he normally would have been doing, but she's doing a great job. It was real iffy this weekend with the water situation. I think we had like 4 foot of water on top. Steve, was that 4 foot of water on top of the bridge? I mean, on the other side, about 4 foot. We also couldn't get out and get on 1485 because I think Kenny Creek had the highway closed down and the West Fork of the San Jacinto. We had a very iffy period on Tram Road to try to go to Splint Door and had to have traffic control out there just to help people manage to get through there. But Monday, and it's like it never happened here. And we have a lot of situations coming up here around the city, so if y'all have some more extended travel, be careful. There's several spots around. There's a pending warning that Interstate 10 may be closed at the San Jack River. We have the situation here in Humble. I haven't seen water that high, but
94 was over the bridge.
at 94 was over the bridge. Okay, so and if you, tomorrow's a work day, and if you need to extend and go over, remember they're going to open up the parkway there. That'll be free toll. So that's the way not to go over the San Jacinto River up here at Humble. Okay, my mayor hasn't showed up yet,
Move on.
but he should be here shortly. I think I've talked long enough, and let's get on to our Memorial Day service. Thank you very much, Joe.
Now, we do have several empty chairs in the area. If anybody needs to sit down, go ahead and take them. Before we get in to the area of Memorial Day, I want to reach back 3 years ago from our American Legion monthly magazine, from the commander's message. Many of those heroes lay beneath the crosses of Normandy and American cemeteries, others at Arlington or in their hometowns. Millions more survived the war and raised their families under the peace of freedom they and their fallen comrades fought so hard to achieve. It was a ceremony that, this is why Memorial Day is so important. We don't just honor those who participated in the most hellacious firefights. We honor the more than 1 million men and women who lost their lives defending America in wars from revolution to the global war on terrorism. People like Marine Sergeant William Stacy, who was on his 4th deployment to Afghanistan, where he was killed by an LED blast while walking patrol in the Helmand province on January the 23rd, 2012. Like so many who go to war, Stacy left a letter behind to be read, just in case. Memorial Day. Memorial Day, perhaps more than any other day, was born human necessity to our nation's heroes who paid the ultimate price for freedom. Deep inside all of us lies a fundamental desire to make sense of life and our place in it and in the world. What we have been given, what we will do with it, and what we will pass on to the next generation is all part of an unfolding history. Memorial Day was first called Decoration Day to honor those who paid the ultimate price in our nation's service. Officially, Memorial Day was proclaimed on the 5th of May in 1868 by General John Logan, and then the first observed on May the 30th in 1868 by placing flowers on the Union and Confederate soldiers' graves and at Arlington Cemetery. As stated, this 1868 celebration was set aside and was observed in several towns throughout America that had taken place in the 3 years since the Civil War. Although several cities claimed to be the birthplace of the Memorial Day, in 1966, the federal government, under President Lyndon Baines Johnson, declared Waterloo, New York, the official birthplace of Memorial Day. Waterloo was chosen because it was the first city to celebrate Memorial Day on May the 5th, 1866, and the city made it an annual community-wide event during which businesses closed. Residents decorated the graves of soldiers with flowers and flags. Today, Memorial Day is celebrated at Arlington National Cemetery and individual communities across the nation honoring our fallen heroes. From the Air Force, Army, Marine, Navy, National Guard, and Coast Guard, these ceremonies take place in churches, cities, towns, parks, government installations, and cemeteries. Now that the years have gone by, and this has taken its toll on our World War I and II veterans, Korean and Vietnam veterans too, the present day veterans, the veterans who have carried the torch of remembrance over the years. Now it is up to today, the generation of military and civilians to keep the torch of freedom burning. Many people observe the holiday by visiting cemeteries and memorials. A national moment of remembrance take place at 3 p.m. local times by having a moment of silence and playing taps. There's also lowering the flag to half-staff from dawn till noon local times. It was with that in mind and a comment of 2 Roman Forest residents who helped to continue the Memorial Day observance and kept it alive. Dale Mize and Floyd Atkinson gave their time freely to observe and were responsible for the Purple Heart Monument at this park. Now the community and the city carries on the Memorial Day tradition that they cared so much for. Now we say, Dale, Floyd, we care. We won't forget. We remember your service. Let's bow our head in silence for our 2 comrades. Thank you, and we'll pass it on to the next speaker.
I'm so glad all of you guys are here today, and ladies. You could be out buying furniture on sale or mattresses on sale, but you're here. Okay. The information I'm about to give you was published in the American Legion Auxiliary magazine a couple of years ago, and it has to do with the POWMIA table that you'll see over here. And according to the Department of Defense Prisoner of War Missing Personnel Office, there are still more than 83,000 American American troops missing in action today. Some 73,681 from World War II, 7,945 from the Korean War, 126 during the Cold War, 1,657 from the Vietnam War, and 6 from Iraq and other conflicts. The American Legion family is dedicated to ensuring that America's POWs MIAs be honored and recognized, not just memorialized. Legion efforts focus on the need to account as fully as possible for those still missing, alive or dead. An important way all Legion family members create awareness and remembrance for this initiative is through conducting POW MIA remembrance services at public events. Strong, united support by all Legion family members is crucial to bring all of our heroes home. The table to my right over here is small, symbolizing the frailty of one prisoner alone against his or her suppressors. The tablecloth is white, symbolic of the purity of their intentions to respond to their country's call to arms. The single rose in the base signifies the blood they may have shed in sacrifice to ensure the freedom of our beloved United States of America. This rose also reminds us of the family and friends of our missing comrades who keep faith while awaiting their return. A slice of lemon on the plate reminds us of their bitter fate. The salt sprinkled on the plate reminds us of the countless fallen tears of families as they wait for their loved ones to return. The glass is inverted. They cannot toast with us at this time. The chair is empty. They are not here. The candle is reminiscent of the light of hope which lives in our hearts to illuminate their way home, away from their captors, to open arms of a grateful nation. The American flag reminds us that many U.S. service members may never return and have paid the supreme sacrifice to ensure our freedom today. Let's let every day be a Memorial Day, not just one day a year. Thank you for coming out today to participate and honor all of our veterans.
Good morning. Brittany Gordon. In many ways, Brittany was a typical all-American little girl. In other ways, she was not at all typical. When Brittany was 7 years old, growing up in St. Petersburg, Florida area, she lost her first baby tooth. She wrote the following note to put under her pillow. Dear Tooth Fairy, will you please leave the tooth under the bed and I will return it the next night? P.S. I want to take it to my school and share it with all my friends. Her mother stated that was Brittany's true nature, to share everything about her life with her friends. Brittany grew up, she finished top of her class at St. Petersburg High School, and she went off to the University of Florida. After 4 years and gaining her degree, she decided to make a change in her life, and she enlisted in the U.S. Army. On October 22nd, 2012, Brittany Gordon, Specialist Brittany Gordon, and her team were installing furniture in a U.S. intelligence office at a U.S. Army base in Helmand Province, Afghanistan. A Taliban terrorist had infiltrated that office, set off a suicide vest, and Brittany was killed instantly. At her funeral, her mom said that Brittany remains a shining light. It shines over all of us and will continue to be present in her life and our lives. Today I'm thinking about Brittany, and I'm praying for her mom and dad, and I honor her sacrifice. When I was honored to be invited to speak to you last year at this event, it was a true honor and a true privilege. But when I was asked to speak again this year, I struggled with it. I wondered, what could I possibly tell you that's different this year, that's changed after the events of a year ago? I think this next event will illustrate what has changed in this world. 2 months ago, March 12, 2016, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Cato Martinez, his wife Gail, and his 4 children were about to leave for a vacation. They were stationed at a U.S. base in the Netherlands, and the nearest major airport for them was Brussels International. They traveled very early that morning to Brussels International Airport and got in line to check in for their flight to an island off the coast of Spain. Something that my family and I have had the privilege to do many, many times without thinking twice about it. In the airport that morning, as we all read about in the news, terrorists again exploded bombs in suitcases and killed many people, including about 8 Americans. What was not widely reported was that although Lieutenant Colonel Martinez survived the attack but still in the hospital, and his 4 children survived the attack, Mrs. Gail Martinez from Corpus Christi, Texas, was killed instantly. Now, some of you may say that Gail Martinez is not somebody we would traditionally honor at Memorial Day. She didn't wear the uniform. She didn't enlist or take the oath of office. But if you ask me, especially these days, in the world we live in now, our family members also serve. And it's painful to think that now maybe our family members are in the front line of fire as well. And so today, I ask that you also honor the memory of Gail Martinez. And you think about her husband, Air Force Lieutenant Colonel Martinez, and their 4 children, who are going through an event that they never should have to go through. We never had to go through in previous wars. Those are just 2 examples, and there are many, many others, and I hope you will share your examples of your friends and family members today with us. But what has changed in this world in the last year? It's the nature of war. We honor today our veterans that we've already met, from World War II, from Vietnam, from Korea, from the Gulf War. But we know we all fought a different kind of war then. We knew who the enemy was. When we fought in those wars, we were fighting against an enemy that followed certain rules. They wore a uniform. They knew what the Geneva Convention meant, and our family members were safe. The enemy we fight today is different. They don't wear a uniform. They don't follow rules. They don't just attack combatants like us. And so to me, what's changed in this past year is the nature of war. What has not changed, though, is the nature of our warriors. We still live in the greatest country in the world, one full of brave people willing to make sacrifices for our freedom, for our liberties. And unfortunately, sometimes our families are now in that line of fire. That's an unfortunate event. That's the nature of the world these days. And so I will honor them as well today, and I will think about them as well today. And so what I ask of you is that you share your stories with your neighbors, with your friends, with your families. Yes, we know that it's Memorial Day weekend, and we have car races in Indianapolis, we have sales, we have pools opening, we have cookouts and picnics, and there's nothing un-American about that. There's nothing unpatriotic about that. But it's got to be more than that. I'll have a barbecue later today. I may go check out some of those sales. But before I do that, I'm going to say a prayer for Brittany's mom and dad. I think about what they're going through today without her sharing this holiday with them. I'm going to think about my partner in the Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel Martinez, and his 4 children who no longer have a mother. I'm going to say a few prayers for them and think about them. And not just today. I'll be thinking about that for a while. And so what I ask of you is that you share your stories. If you have mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters, neighbors, friends who have given the ultimate sacrifice, please share those stories with us. Please share those stories with me today. I've heard a few of them already this morning. Let's keep their memory alive. Let's share those stories so that their lives were not given in vain. Let's have our picnics and our barbecues and go to our sales. But let's not forget what this day is about. Let's honor their memory, and not just today, but every day. Let's continue to be thankful that we live in one of the greatest nations in the world, where we have people who will make those sacrifices and make those commitments. And let's continue to hope that God will continue to bless our veterans families, and the United States of America. Thank you. Okay, we have a few awards to give out. These are for service to some of our cadets who have been here many, many years. This is only my third year of doing this, but they've outpaced me quite a bit. Every year, they know it's important. They're choosing to be here. We don't force them to be here. We don't tell them they have to be here for a grade at school, but I'm proud they choose to do this when they could be at the pool or at the mall or at the barbecue. There's time for that later. But I'm proud that they choose to honor their fellow Americans by doing this first. And so we want to honor their many years of outstanding service. So 3 of our cadets from Cleveland High School. First, we're doing this 4 years, Matthew Anderson. I know he doesn't want to break formation, so I'll go show it to him. For outstanding community service to the city of Roman Forest, Texas, we hereby present Matthew Anderson with this award. For your contributions made to the city of Roman Forest on Memorial Day, your dedication will be remembered. 2012, 2016, 4 years. And he earns the Air Force Patriotic Ribbon to wear on his uniform. Nathan Singleton. Same award for 8 years of service, 2008, 2016. Might have something to do with his grandfather, but still, I think he's been here willingly for 8 years. So. And the next one is for Braden Bell for 8 years of service, but I think this is the first of many, many awards Braden's going to earn. This may be the last Air Force award he earns, but there'll be many more Army awards in his future. So Braden Bell for 8 years of service.
Wait a minute.
Wait, there's more. Anybody to the left?
So perhaps his last Air Force award, but I can't wait to see the Army rack that he'll have on his chest here after a few years. So congratulations. Okay, we also have certificates. Apparently if you do 4 or 8 years, you get a little plaque. But after 1 year, you get a certificate, which is no small thing. Because again, you could be out at the pool or shopping at the mall, which I know that'd be quite a treat, wouldn't it? Or doing some other things. But you choose to be here. You volunteer to be here. So the first certificate of appreciation awarded to Elias Balbuena from the city of Roman Forest for his dedication and participation in supporting the tradition of the Memorial Day Observance 2016 event, presented and signed by Chris Parr. We have one for Elias and Eliseo. I'm going to give it to them at the same time because I can't tell you which one is which. I guess right.
Good.
Every day I'm thankful that their mom didn't have triplets.
Place the wreath. We're now sound taps.
Motors and lights, bearing, motors, grease, pens, parts,
Legionnaires on the cover. Our Heavenly Father, bestow your glory, your gracious blessings upon these people, and let your wisdom guide them as they leave this meeting place to go to their respective ways. Give them, O Lord, a divine understanding from you, with which the day they can meet the misunderstandings of troubled world. Give them love of their fellow man, that is, love may at last gain for them the greater, more abundant love of their Creator. Teach them, we pray, how to live, that by their lives they may be examples to others. Be with them in their sorrows and afflictions, their problems, their perplexities, their victories, and their defeats. Be with them always, now, and forever. Amen. Cover. Retire the colors.
Post.